There's a certain kind of presence that commands attention before a word is spoken, a presence that can enthrall, intimidate, or captivate. Glennclose has lived her life in the space between awe and fear, beauty and intensity, elegance and danger. From the bright lights of Broadway to the glare of Hollywood's most unforgiving spotlight, she has carved a career that is as remarkable as it is elusive. For decades, she has been nominated, celebrated, and often misunderstood. Villain, heroine, mother, monster, queen, she has inhabited every shade of humanity with precision and depth. She has terrified audiences, moved them to tears, and forced them to confront uncomfortable truths about desire, power, and identity. And yet, behind the characters, behind the applause, is a woman who has fought tirelessly for art, refusing to let the industry dictate her worth. Her story is not just one of fame or fortune. It is a story of devotion to craft, of patience in the face of industry bias, and a relentless pursuit of authenticity. This is Glennclose, a master of transformation, a force of nature, and one of the most formidable actresses the world has ever known. Glennclose was born in 1947 in Greenwich, Connecticut, into a world that valued elegance, intellect, and ambition. Her father was a chemical engineer, precise and disciplined. Her mother, a socialite and activist, passionate and persuasive. From an early age, Close absorbed both influences, the drive to achieve and the courage to speak, to act, to take up space. She grew up surrounded by expectation, but she also discovered early the power of imagination. Theater became her sanctuary, a place where she could transform, explore, and command attention on her own terms. By the time she reached adolescence, the stage had already begun shaping the actress she would become. After studying at prestigious institutions and honing her craft with relentless focus, she took her first steps into professional theater. Each performance was a lesson in discipline and resilience, a chance to stretch herself, to inhabit characters wholly, and to demand the audience's belief. Broadway, with its bright lights and unforgiving standards, became her proving ground. It was here that Close learned the secret of transformation, the subtle gestures, the pause that speaks louder than words, the stare that can unnerve or enthrall. Every role she undertook was an opportunity to perfect a craft that would later define her career. Even in those early years, there was a sense that Glennclose was destined for more than fleeting recognition. Her intensity, her intelligence, and her refusal to compromise hinted at a future where she would not just play roles, but inhabit them in ways that audiences would never forget. By the early 1980s, Glennclose had established herself as a powerhouse on the stage, but Hollywood was a different world entirely, a world that often measured talent by glamour and marketability rather than craft and depth. Yet Close refused to be sidelined. She brought the same intensity to the screen that she had honed on Broadway, demanding attention in every frame. Her early film roles in movies like The World According to Garp and The Big Chill hinted at the extraordinary range that would define her career. She could charm, she could seduce, she could quietly devastate. But it was in 1987, with Fatal Attraction, that she announced herself as a cinematic force. Her portrayal of Alex Forrest, a woman whose obsessive love spirals into terrifying unpredictability, made audiences both captivated and uneasy. With every glance, every tremor, every carefully measured word, she blurred the line between fear and fascination. Yet Close's brilliance did not stop with dramatic thrillers. In 1996, she reinvented herself for a younger audience, stepping into the over-the-top, flamboyant role Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians, and reprising it in 102 Dalmatians. Here, she embraced camp, glamour, and villainy with gleeful abandon, creating a character who was wicked, hilarious, and unforgettable. Cruella became a cultural touchstone, demonstrating that Close could command audiences across genres, from intense drama to family entertainment, without ever losing the depth and precision that defines her craft. Hollywood quickly noticed. Here was an actress capable of terror and delight, sophistication and spectacle. While some tried to box her into archetypes, Close continuously defied them, proving that she could inhabit any character fully, no matter how extreme or unusual. Her breakthrough was not just fame. It was the establishment of her unique voice in cinema, one that could transform every project she touched. Despite her meteoric rise, Hollywood remained a complicated stage for Glennclose. Nominations came, praise flowed, yet the elusive Academy Award, the ultimate recognition, remained just out of reach. By the late 1980s and 1990s, she had been nominated multiple times for performances that were daring, layered, and unforgettable, yet each time victory slipped through her fingers. Films like Dangerous Liaisons, The House of the Spirits, and Albert Nobbs showcase a versatility few could match. She was fearless, inhabiting roles that demanded elegance, cruelty, vulnerability, and restraint, often all at once. And yet, the industry's adoration was paradoxical. She was celebrated, yes, but never fully embraced in the way her talent deserved. This tension, the world recognizing her brilliance while withholding ultimate acknowledgement, became a defining narrative. For many, it could have been discouraging, but for Close, it became fuel. She doubled down on her craft, choosing roles that challenged expectations, that defied stereotypes, that demanded risk. And then, decades later, the long-awaited triumph came. In The Wife, she portrayed Joan Castleman, a woman of quiet strength, intelligence, and unspoken resilience. Finally, the Academy's nod became a victory not just for performance, but for a lifetime of unwavering dedication. It was validation, but more than that, it was proof that true artistry, though patient and persistent, eventually commands recognition. Glennclose's journey through acclaim and near misses is a story of resilience. It is a reminder that greatness is not measured by immediate applause, but by the enduring mark left on audiences, on art, and on the standards of performance itself. What sets Glennclose apart is not just the awards, the recognition, or even the fame. It is her mastery of transformation. From the aristocratic cruelty of Marquise de Mertert in Dangerous Liaisons to the quiet desperation of Albert Nobbs, she inhabits each character fully, leaving no trace of herself behind. Every gesture, every glance, every pause becomes part of the character's DNA. Her ability to transform is perhaps most vividly illustrated in her turn as Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians and its sequel. Here, Close embraced camp, glamour, and theatricality, crafting a villain who was equal parts menacing and mesmerizing. She didn't merely play Cruella, she became her. Every exaggerated movement, every wicked laugh, every glint of calculation perfectly calibrated. It was a performance that delighted children and terrified adults, proving that her talent could transcend genre, age, and audience. Close does not simply act. She disappears into roles. She becomes a person on screen, with all their contradictions, fears, and desires. A villain can be sympathetic. A heroine can terrify. A mother can be both nurturing and devastating. In her hands, character is never one-dimensional. It is lived, breathed, and felt by the audience. Yet this artistry comes with its own struggles. Hollywood has long been unkind to aging actresses, and Close, like so many others, has had to navigate a system that too often values youth over depth, appearance over craft. And still, she persists, choosing roles that challenge, that innovate, that refuse to settle for easy stereotypes. Television, film, and stage, she moves between them seamlessly, leaving her mark in each. From a morally complex Patty Hughes in Damages to the flamboyant villainy of Cruella de Vil, Close demonstrates an almost unparalleled range. She is fearless, meticulous, and endlessly committed to the truth of each character she embodies. Her work reminds us why we watch cinema at all, to witness transformation, to see ourselves reflected in complexity, to feel deeply. And in Glennclose, that reminder is always present, always powerful, and always unforgettable. Glennclose's impact reaches far beyond the screen. Her performances have inspired generations of actors, teaching them that courage, precision, and commitment are the currency of lasting artistry. She has shown that women can inhabit power, darkness, and vulnerability without apology, and in doing so, has reshaped the way Hollywood and audiences see complex female characters. Off-screen, her influence is equally profound. She has championed mental health awareness, supported young actors, and used her platform to speak out on issues she believes in. Her voice, like her presence, carries weight. It demands attention, not through spectacle, but through authenticity. Glennclose's career is a testament to resilience and artistry, a blueprint for anyone who refuses to compromise on excellence. She has endured the capriciousness of fame, the narrow definitions of beauty and success, and frustration of near misses, all while remaining fiercely devoted to her craft. And perhaps that is her greatest legacy, a reminder that mastery is not measured by accolades alone, but by the courage to pursue truth in every role, the patience to weather the industry's whims, and the determination to leave an indelible mark on both art and audience. Glennclose is more than an actress. She is a force of nature, a master of transformation, and a living testament to the power of dedication, intelligence, and unyielding talent. Fun fact about Glennclose. Glennclose started her career on the stage and won 3 Tony Awards before she became a Hollywood star. For decades, she was nominated for more Academy Awards than any other actor without winning, until her role in The Wife finally earned her an Oscar. She is famous for playing unforgettable villains, like Alex Forrest in Fatal Attraction and the over-the-top Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians and 102 Dalmatians. Despite her Hollywood fame, she always returns to the theater, saying it's where she truly hones her craft. Close is trained in opera and classical voice, which adds extra depth to her performances. Acting runs in the family. Her niece, Close, is also an actress. She is known for fully immersing herself in her roles, studying movement, posture, and gestures to bring characters like Albert Nobbs and Cruella to life. Many younger audiences know her as Patty Hughes in Damages, a role that earned her 2 Emmy Awards. She is a passionate advocate for mental health awareness, especially in fighting the stigma around obsessive-compulsive disorder. Glennclose is considered one of Hollywood's most versatile and respected actresses, blending intensity, elegance, and intelligence in every performance. Glennclose is more than an actress. She is a force of nature. Across decades, genres, and generations, she has terrified, charmed, and inspired. From the stage to the silver screen, from the intensity of Fatal Attraction to the flamboyance of Cruella de Vil, she has shown us the true power of transformation. Her legacy is not measured by awards alone, but by the depth, courage, and artistry she brings to every role. Glennclose reminds us that greatness is earned through persistence, passion, and the unwavering pursuit of truth. And in her performances, we find the proof that some talents are simply unforgettable.